كم بقي لنا شيخ عثمان ولا حان الوقت؟
No, I'll give you 5 minutes more.
خيرا. Are there any questions here on or off the topic before we stop for Salat al-Isha? نعم تفضل حبيبي.
When you travel and combine the salah in a metropolitan area like New York, say you leave Brooklyn and go to Queens, does the distance still apply?
Questions regarding traveling in a metropolitan area such as New York. You go from Brooklyn to Queens, Staten Island, Manhattan, etc. There's two ways of doing it. The first way of doing it is determining whether you are or are not a traveler by the distance, the mileage. The distance and the mileage. And the second way of doing it is determining whether you are or are not a traveler by the customs of the people. What the people consider or do not consider traveling. So as far as the mileage, you going to Brooklyn or you're in Brooklyn going to Queens, in most cases, you're not going to go past the mileage, 50 miles. All right? And even if you're driving in a place in which you're burning 50 miles, in most cases, you've already breached the border without going past 50 miles. So that's out the window. As far as if one considers the custom of the people, then that depends on the custom of the people. To get to Queens, what are you going through? A tunnel, a bridge, a toll? Going to Manhattan, are you going on a big long bridge? Are you paying a toll? Your mail that comes to your house, does it say New York City or does it say Brooklyn, New York? Such and such, such and such. So it's one or two ways of doing it with regards to when you are or are not a traveler. Everyone understand this? It's going to be either based off of the mileage or al-urf wal-ada, the custom of the people. And the custom of the people, the majority of the people, what do they consider a different city? Are there sections of this borough? Or is Brooklyn just a section of a city, New York City? Or is Brooklyn itself its own city? There's Canarsie, there's Fort Greene, there's Bed-Stuy, there's downtown Brooklyn, right? Different areas and sections of Brooklyn. There's Corona, Queens, right? Jamaica, Queens, South Ozone Park, Astoria, right? So many sections. Let alone the sections within what? Manhattan, right? Wallahu alam. Naam, Sheikh.
Can you comb your hair when you're in the masjid?
Combing your hair in the masjid is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as you're not harming or annoying anyone else, inshallah. Wallahu alam. Fadal.
Back to the topic, you speak about the blameworthy of it, the praiseworthy of it. Explain some more about the legal part of praiseworthy.
Praiseworthy, quote unquote, envy. In brief, we don't have a lot of time, and we're going to cover it in the book. In brief, it is for you to see someone that Allah has blessed, you make dua for them, you're happy for them, and you want a similar blessing. That's all. Someone has money, that person is very generous in the cause of Allah. They spend. Whenever something's needed, they're the first one. Whenever some type of sadaqah is needed, they're the first one to give it. He said, man, I wish I was like that. I wish I had the courage, like Amsterdam, to give up my money like that. People throwing dollar bills, and all you see is big faces, or a card, or check. I wish I had the money to spend. I wish I was that generous. So some scholars, as we have explained, that's called hasad, but in reality, it's not. And regardless of the term and the word that you use, that is praiseworthy from it. It's okay to have that envy. You're blessed. I say, man, Sheikh, I wish I was like you. I'm jealous. You get to go to Medina. You're making Hajj tomorrow. Man, I wish I'm jealous. MashaAllah, make dua for me. Why can't that? Wallahu alam. Fadal.
This has if somebody has something, you want him to lose it, or you want him to, why you didn't get it, you to get it, straight west. You don't get that, or
Both are bad. Period. They're both haram. For you to hate on someone just for the sake of hating, even if you don't want it, or like I said, you can't even handle it. Or you just you hate on them and you want it. I want it myself. He married a very beautiful woman, mashallah, the most beautiful girl in the city or the village. I want her for myself. She should have been with me. Or he says, I'm mad and angry that he married such a beautiful woman. Even though he's already married, both of them. And Allah knows best. Okay, inshallah, I think that's all the time that we have tonight. Let's take one question from online before the Iqamah. A asks Abbots Langley, UK, who was the sacrifice of Ibrahim alayhi salam, Ishaq or Ismail? Jazakumullah khairan. In brief, it was Ismail. And of course, there are different discussions in the tafsir with regards to that. Tayyib, please mention where you're coming from in Somalia. Initials Ari from Boston. What do you normally say, Sheikh, on the last rak'ah and after the tahiyyat and after the salawat on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? It's recommended to make the supplications, Allahumma inni ala dhikrika wa shukrika, and before that, seeking Allah's refuge, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min adhab al-qabr. And it's also recommended to ask Allah for any good of this life and of the hereafter. Anything that's good of this life and of the hereafter. Wallahu alam. Question is coming from K.A. from Queens, New York. Assalamu alaikum. What do you say to the one who fasts but sins throughout the day? Alaikum salam to Allah. Keep fasting and try to reflect on why you're fasting. And ask Allah to allow your fast to be fruitful. M.I. Birmingham, UK. Assalamu alaikum. Are there any evidences used from Quran and Hadith to support the view that a potential spouse can see a woman's hair specifically? Jazakallahu khairan. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, there are. There are texts from the Sunnah regarding that. And we have classes on that online, in which the Messenger of Allah ﷺ instructed and allowed the companion to look at the woman that he had proposed to. And that's well known to the ulama of Islam. In all madhabs, it's well known what a man cannot or can and cannot see from his potential spouse. And Allah knows best. Tayyib, I think we've run out of time. We're going to stop here tonight. I'm not sure if we'll continue after Salat al-Isha or not. Let's see. Allah surely knows best. Walhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.